today we talk to the Minister of Technical and Higher Education, winner Dr. Ramatulai Wurie. Today we topic of discussion we look at sustainability, financial sustainability of public university and college them. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Inside one town hall meeting with the Minister of Information and Civic Education hold for public universities them last week. One topic we come up now, how the universities them go able for sustain themselves in terms of the copper within they generate. We make it now the program today for see how the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education go help the universities then and that drive talk about policies and law issues them we go able help the universities here for able to do that. But before we come to the financial sustainability of public universities and colleges them, what's in done the happen at the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education?
Thank you very much. So good morning again to listeners and to viewers them. The Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, since the last time I came here, a lot has been happening. The one thing I want to mention this morning, now say we don't work with partners them for see how we can introduce digitalization into the university and develop platforms, them systems that we go give we data and also help follow improve upon quality. One such partnership would work with a UN agency for further complement the existing learning management system we currently get within we universities them. And we want for develop a fully comprehensive education management system. We will get many functionalities in terms of it will help the university them in terms of admission. It will help students them in terms of their day-to-day activities them as students them for able access learning materials and able submit continuous assessment, assignments and so on. And then they go help in terms of efficiency, and with it, we hope say that platform they go also allow the universities to move away from paper-based operations to using technology, because we know say technology now one of the 5 key pillars then for the current government in terms of priority. That platform they go also give you data where we need at ministry level, at national level, and data very important because it will give you a snapshot. So the organization we work with, where they don't develop the education management system, we will get a dashboard, we will give you a snapshot of what's in they happen, and then they will help we for know if there is any need for we come in for develop policy for address a certain concern. Or if there's any SIWO need for develop targeted interventions informed by the data, then are one. The second two they work on now for develop a quality management system, and then in something we captured now we national development plan, where again we work with a partner organization for see how we can help the universities them for position themselves for they provide data we linked to quality at national level, at regional level, but also at global level. That organization also well known for do ranking system for universities. So then they work with the university administrators who don't get the first masterclass online for lay universities could be aware of what they need for do for let them be captured on the ranking. And I'm very happy to report that we already get some of the universities them we already did the ranking system. And they say I expect say tomorrow all the universities in Asalongo begin the number one, but I just want lay the awareness day within the universities for see how they can work for support agendas at national level most importantly, but also at regional and global level. And this quality management system as well will give you a snapshot for we know how we need for coming for support them as a ministry in terms of policies or otherwise, but also create a platform for they're able to work together collaboratively and see how they can support themselves. This is not something I don't say repeatedly. We value partnership within the ministry, and then we really want for promote intra-level collaboration, so collaboration within. And what I mean by that, if institution A, they do well per one parameter, and the other they do so well, not to a case for points finger, and the one they do well, but now for lay in look and say, okay, this one they do well in this area, how we can work with them for see how we can learn from them, and vice versa. So now one key thing we want to do within the higher education space, within technical education space, when our vocational training, when a major arm of the ministry, the last I be mentioned about a labor market survey will be done do, where we recognize say we don't want for train young people them, and then there's a mismatch with the skills that we can get within the current labor markets require. So we don't get money from the World Bank where we conduct this labor market survey. We look 7 sectors them within our national development plan. We not add technology, but it's important. And the reason we not add technology because we became aware that the Ministry of Communication, Technology and Innovation, they already do that for that sector. So we therefore use the outputs of that exercise for support what we want to do with the labor market survey. Now we don't complete the labor market survey for the 7 sectors the way we identify in the National Development Plan. We use the outputs now for go back and look at curriculum for see, okay, with the current curriculum, it is speak to it in the current labor markets they say. If that's not the case, then we refactor that into the curriculum and revise the curriculum for they be harmonized across the board. The other thing we will work on, and this is something will be non get approval for even before my time, now for convert we government technical institutes them into community technical colleges them. Because we too want for do with vocational training, I go talk about around 3 key pillars, and we want for change the perception of vocational training. We want for improve the relevance and also the quality. So the perception are the changing from government technical institutes to community colleges them. We don't know say there's a general misconception, not just in Sierra Leone, but in many other countries them all over the world, for say vocational training not for second class, not to the priority, not to the first option. And that should not be the case. We don't also know say in other countries them where they really don't invest in vocational education, it don't strengthen the middle manpower, and then they can only contribute positively to socio-economic development. So what we want to do within the ministry now for work with the relevant authorities them and stakeholders, including the media, for we make the message go out for say vocational training not to for dropouts, not to second class team. It's very, very important.
All right. Okay, Madam Minister, when you start for talk, you mentioned say on the try for move from paper base of university them for go digital. This make I go ask, what are the status of the university there in terms of technology?
That's a very good question. I think the universities in get varying levels. I know say they're all there at one level, but efforts are being made. I mentioned say there's an existing learning management system within the use at varying levels as well, and we just want for upscale Dandy and see how we can further enhance them with this partnership policy. Because as with most institutions, when it comes to stationery, it's a huge boku money can go sometimes. So if we're able to introduce technology into systems and operations, yes, it will be heavy investment upfront, because for getting equipment it costs money, but in the long run it will save. And if you think about the broader implications, when you think about paper and climate change and all that in would it try for see how we universities can become green campuses. The last time there was a question on Dandy from a viewer or a listener on waiting at the efforts the would make sure say we campus them green. So then I want such to work use technology, and that's where the world is going. We want for ensure say we students them, we institutions and we learning institutions them they at the same and they go at the same pace as the global trend. We don't want for the lag behind. So using technology as something we the upscale gradually within we higher educational institutions.
The issue of curriculum review and the courses them when they do other universities, and one we make mention of what are the efforts of the ministry for ensure say this happen, because this don't be a major concern over the past years. Them they can cause them and some subject where people go read at universities or colleges.
So I think that the thing way it's been addressed gradually, even before my time. It's been addressed gradually. So this labor market survey was mentioned now one key tool that we do use for addressing, because we talk to the labor market, the industry players, both in the public and the private space, and let them tell we waiting they want. We not want for mismatch the. We want for train young people and for demand the for them. But then the employers they know say when they graduate, they get the skills and what they need in the labor market. So that's one key driver as well. And then curriculum review, always nothing when an ongoing process within the universities them. So then they ensure say them the curriculum within the offer, the package within the offer, it's in demand, and it should be linked to what in the country need.
The issue of overcrowding and infrastructure the universities them, especially then traditional universities them, within when they do about that.
So that a major concern, but as you can imagine, for address that they not a team will go do overnight. As much as we go want for expand in terms of physical infrastructure, where would they try for put measures in place for address that? For example, with the government technical institute, so they work with partners then for see how we can ensure say there's district representation. So every district forgets at least one government technical institute. Then they go help for provide equitable access. The same back for universities. We try follow get one university in every region, and currently we don't get approval for we establish the Ahmed Tijan Kaba University in the Northwest, which we do now for work with partners then for see how we can get the funds for start projects there. But in what we do currently now for address overcrowding now for use again online systems, digital platforms, ODL, online distance learning, a thing way not a new thing during COVID. The ministry be encouraged the learning institutions and for let them back up on that, because as we know, because of COVID, the learning institutions then being closed. So ODL, they all get different systems and for ODL. One of the agency, Tertiary Education Commission, don't they work with one partner, Commonwealth of Learning, then don't they give them money, then we don't get a national open distance learning policy, we don't get a series of consultations with the university administrators then for see how they can upscale and see how they can introduce or further enhance or develop the existing e-learning platforms that we then do, we then get for address overcrowding. But nothing will ever happen gradually and not ever happen overnight, because then they also involve investment.
All right. My colleague just asked you about reviewing some of the courses them we can do na university, and I know you agree with me that plenty people they graduate from university not get work, and one of the reasons them not due to some of the courses them where they do. Now the ministry concerned about some of the issues there where they happen.
We always concerned about that, because education na money. From the government and also from the parents and the caregivers, them, the guardians, and also the students. And time we then spend at university, and it will be very demotivating for them to graduate work already. So they go back to the labor market survey, what they do, and we don't do enough for 7 sectors, but we get for leverage eventually on a much comprehensive labor market survey where the Ministry of Employment, Labor and Social Security do holistically. The other thing we do now for see as part of the training where in the university for introduce entrepreneurship training, so young students while in the university. Already so while they all be job creators where they graduate, but at least let them get the option, let them get that knowledge for be able for create jobs them if not they didn't want for if they not able get job from the current market, so they're able create jobs them and able contribute positively to society. And I think we would only discuss we last week the Institute of Public Administration and Management IPAM when a part of the University of Sierra Leone then set up their own Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and then we get to organize an event on social entrepreneurship where then they work in partnership with the London School of Economics and for set up a creative space where young students and young people we get students we get innovative ideas can go and work on them for see how they can turn that into social enterprise we go position them for be job creators. And that also exists in other universities, both public and private universities. We get innovation hubs where UNDP don't support with Abbey College get the primary one, and they will get satellite one them on other campuses them again for create space for students, and we're able to go where they get the innovative ideas for see how they can work and support them, and then we can link them now to entrepreneurship and so on. So the possibilities are there.
You don't talk about this job market survey una don't do. What's in the survey they tell una? What's in the causes them universities them for do according to una surveys?
Well, what we do, we identify sectors them within our national development plan. So like renewable energy, agriculture, the flagship program, so 7 other seven sectors in total now we identify. We go to the employers them both in the public and the private space. Now then sectors and say what are the skills them owner want for we see in graduates them for they able work within owner establishment. So they go back to then cause then within the universities, look at the curriculum and see if the curriculum they speak to their skills. And
you make mention of agriculture we in the flagship program, and with no universities like Jala University, then be know them for agricultural research and other things. But you see them, they move gradually now, they do law. And what thing would they do for ensure say traditional universities where they know them for certain things them maintain that stance, especially agriculture where salon they move into now. But all the universities them want do law now.
So Jala University, historically, all man know Jala University for agriculture, and then still they do well in agriculture. So then still they position themselves for support the flagship program when a agriculture feed salon. Yes, then they've diversified, introduced new cores them. But in anything what they do, then they seek approval. We get the rights authorities, the way they give them the green lights for say, when I get the systems in place, and when I get the lecturer, when I get the capacity and so on for offer the incident. So not to tell them just say what to do, they do and then there's no checks and balances. But they're still at the forefront of supporting agriculture, and we as a ministry, they be them for support them, for letting ensure say they play a very important role in the implementation of feed salon.
Now look at still get for do with the university them. If you look other private university them, they can deal with that. Then they bluff say then they do practical of waiting, then they study in a university. But if you look government own, it can somehow different. Within the ministry want see this time around, if students they study technology, it makes sure say they get access to computer and other things.
Thank you very much. So the value of having a learning environment, an enabling learning environment, is very, very important for complements the theoretical aspects of you training. So what will they do as a ministry now for see how we can support the universities then, because they all know they at varying levels in terms of how they get equipment we go complement within the practical side of things. So one approach now for look at the curriculum, the existing curriculum. Let's say hypothetically we don't review, harmonize the curriculum and we're happy with them. The most logical approach then now for look the curriculum, and then from the curriculum you didn't know what are the equipments that you need. We go complement the curriculum. And then once we get that listing, we look now what currently exists within the institution, the learning institution. The thing that we're not doing now, then the institutions find way now for later and gets them, or we provide way how we can support them for get them. That's one. The issue about computer, then a long-standing issue. And I think it cuts across all the universities. For say, when it comes to students, I don't get a lot of concerns from students, and for say, then they pay for computer service, but they never get the service. And that's in way historical, not today it begin. So we work with the universities then, and we work with partners in the private space, and foresee how we can support for provide sustainable, for example, internet connectivity. Because I think we can all agree that the universities, no universities know the way they provide one computer for every student, but at least you can get computer lab where students can go and able access. So then they will work with the university and see how they can invest in Dandy and see how we can support as well. But then if you get computer lab, you don't get internet connectivity, then what you don't achieve. So we do work with partners then for see how we can support for provide the service, internet, sustainable, reliable internet connectivity. So all universities then. Where we do that, the universities now go and ensure say where students then pay for computer or ICT, get different names them across the different institutions then go ring fence that money then a one separate account. So that money they now then go decide okay, of this money a percentage they go for pay for the service. So there will be no interruption in the service. They'll go then go retain a small component for maintenance in the event if there's any situation will arise where one equipment broke down, the need for maintenance. Because normally things then be break in the service so then they provide. So that approach that we get within the ministry, or we don't engage with the university officials and for see how we can provide support. We don't talk to one West African organization we get for do with research education network for see how we can connect with universities into Dandy. So in addition to them providing the internet connectivity, then they also link with universities to a dedicated regional education and research network. So we go benefits not just students but also faculty members them way they do research. So now one thing we would do for ensure say we complement the efforts of the institutions, the leadership within the institutions, for where we get an enabling learning environment for we students.
Now, in all of this, the issue of the university herself getting your couple for run some of them programs here, because in case you no go wait for government till then come with everything. We now with topic of discussion till we now the financial sustainability of public university and colleges them. At the moment, waiting at the financial sustainability of the public university and colleges here and the means for letting generating your money from your estimation.
So the issue of financing technical and higher education I think we're now a priority for the ministry. And the whole point of organizing the town hall now follow we get frank conversations about within the existing challenges that we'll get in with regards to that, and within the opportunities them and how we can co-create solutions to the challenges them we all can own and implement, and we will be sustainable. All man get role for play. That was the theme of the town hall. The cost of quality, technical higher education, collective responsibility. So collective responsibility means all man get role for play. Governments get commitments to the public universities in the form of subvention. Universities get for also complement the efforts of government and see how they can do more for raise funds internally. The service the students can get for ensure say them pay the tuition fees on time. So now that message you will want for send out the we can come in now for support the universities and for strengthening the financial management systems then. But you asked the question about what they can do. So currently the major source of income for universities them now from tuition fees, which they collect from students them. So they encourage them for let them do more, because there's so much more they can do. They can embark upon business ventures them. We get one example, safe that they from the University of Makeni, we say they get poultry business. And I know say some other public universities them already they do business, they get business ventures them, or then they think for embark upon business ventures. So we encourage them for do more. For look things them one thing back would encourage and for see waiting at the thing when they spend more money per. We identified and in a business opportunity. So if one university can position itself, so can be the provider service day. So the money stays within than it go outside. Then can also do research. Research now one key thing where they bring money to the university and a lot more. They help you for position the university for support development agenda by providing the evidence we need, the GD data, and so on. And the universities need for do more when it comes to research. And they do a lot, but we get for do more. And research can help them for generate income, and we encourage them for later also ensure say them build capacity for research, because the more lecturers then we get with the involved in research, the more research grants and we're able to apply for, the more money we can to the university. So that initial investments they would then get for invest in capacity building and later increase the pool gradually of the young of lecturers already embark upon research.
As now want to encourage university them for let them start for the generate revenue for themselves, but we all know some of the challenge working day where it camp and money business. So within now some of the system the way the ministry will put in place for monitor some of the university them for make sure say the revenue where they generate they use them the right way.
Thank you very much. So for that day, we don't already begin talk to the Ministry of Finance for see how they can support we and the universities then for strengthening the financial management systems. We already exist within the universities for later and they in line and align with the Public Financial Management Act. So then in a discussion we already don't get with the Ministry of Finance, and when the time right, we go get for start that process day for we strengthen the existing financial management system within the universities.
All right. Is it that now because of the challenge with the university then they get make the ministry come up with this project for support the university them?
Which project specifically?
The financial sustainability for create revenue for themselves.
No, I think now the issue of financing technical and higher education, we can all agree say not what today the challenge begin. Now historical challenge. And we get to see how we can address them once and for all. In order for change overnight, but if we bring the relevant people then together, all man own the process, we can able address that problem gradually. That make we say a collective responsibility. All man get rule for playing dandy. Government, the university authorities, the students, all man get rule for playing dandy.
Now, earlier when you they talk about the means by which the universities they get a couple for themselves for run the universities you talk about tuition fee, you talk about other means we then for able get couple, but make I take you back to the issue of SLG where student for petition fee, but the government they say we they give SLG to students them, and the concern from the university, especially University of Salona, that whenever governments they pay SLG or don't allow them give SLG to students, the government they pay back the money quick, and they get government own then plenty couple.
So again, then a historical challenge. Nothing we don't exist for a very long time,
and it still exists.
It still there exists to some extent, but recently, early this year, government make commitment for pay some of them backlog there so. And still work in progress for see how we can able clear the backlog to the universities and start on a clean slate using all the other mechanisms all put in place in terms of the technical and higher education fund where I've been talking about the last time work camp. The university is doing more for generate funds internally, and then the ministry supporting them for strengthening the financial management system. So yes, na historical challenge, but our team will address.
How soon are we able to address this, because this don't be a major challenge for the universities then? SLG payments by government.
Mrs. F before like for students, you say so and so they to go pay the money. But all I know is it's a priority. Nothing where we are aware so for people, we don't make a commitment. We don't make to the universities them already. We don't begin honor some of that commitments there. We get some backlog, but we ensure say we clear that backlog.
Checking back some 3 years back, we see the university being the sell form when governments pull a notice say they're not for sell form to students them for going to the universities them, and the University of Salone, for instance, we get concerned over this. Say these are one of we means them who they generate income. If we stop for sell form, how will get the money?
You mean admissions form?
Yes.
So the admissions process now it's done online, but students then still they pay for the admissions. So the universities are not lost no revenue with regards to that. We just don't remove them from paper base to doing it online now, which is a more efficient way.
But the universities then being get for puts them foot down for ensure say students them pay. We mean say most of them ideas them way they come with for generate income. The government they come, if we do this, it will tell on the students them, because now then clients them wouldn't they deal with our students them, and they will tell you say they no get means for go get money elsewhere.
So again, to the point where I make this way, the points where you make reference to happen before me time, but for move from paper based to online, there's no loss of income, because then still the students then still they pay for the admissions when they do online. If anything, the universities then they save small safe, because that money you take for print the paper application another day again, and now when they do things them online, it's a lot more efficient. And what they say one lady universities them generate more income internally. We wanted them think innovatively. Admissions now one thing, yes, we know they knock them down, but there's so many other things them where other institutions where they can do other activities where they can back up on for generate more funds internally. So now the one lady let them think innovatively, and they're already there on board, then they themselves don't see the need for let them do that. It will help them in terms of for let them do things they really want for do for improve the learning environment for students, them invest in infrastructure, in equipment, in capacity building. They can able to do that internally without this heavy dependence for say lay government, past government, and governments don't they invest a lot. We they pay subventions, yes, challenges, then they pay a huge percentage of lecturer salaries them as well. So it's a huge commitment from the government as well, and we want to lay other systems then complement that efforts.
All right, before we go for break, you talk about backlog of SLG. How much will you talk about so in terms of money?
I'm not able to give the figure off the top of my head.
All right. Continue for the way to inside the program. We'll go for a short break. Where we come, we continue for look at more issues. The program na Good Morning Salon, where they come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Inside the program, we take one of the story them, outside the Deputy Director of Budget and the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Ilara Madi, say for make the University of Salon begin deliver quality per education, the university administration for set standard for lecturer them so that then go work for get rank na the education system. Jaffaman Davis get more and gonna report.
The national conversation on how for get rank to the country in technical and higher education, and want to be bring together different book learning stakeholder them. For talk about waiting, go out for bring back the quality per education as alone. And after, when we don't talk about the importance of sustainable financing for one government university them, students they will not agree pay college fee. Now one pan the cost them, when stakeholder they have believe say they make the university them not able for deliver quality from the education system. The defense, where the National Union of Students and a Salon been give for this, according to the president, Rex Bonafa. Now that the university themselves plenty time, not can make the students and benefit from different thing them where they can pay for.
What is the essence of extra charges? Not a single day I don't get access to free internet. Not a single day I don't get access to computer. We pay for professional fees. We pay for fees and other facilities. But we don't get for enjoying facilities. Meaning, we get administrators there. We don't siphon money that we spent on the last year. The fees include for pay for extra charges. So meaning 35 or 30% of students equally don't pay for extra charges. So within the extra charges, you supposed to get ID card. How many students get out with universities the way they submit ID cards? Even the national ID card, you know they pay past 150 euros. But the university authorities are asking for more than 400 euros. So are we in any way saying the university ID cards are more important as the national ID card?
All this be make the discussion turn to what he makes Salone don lost in him now as Athens of West Africa and Reverend Professor Edwin Momo, when the Vice Chancellor and Principal na the Anes by Kuruma University, been get this for say.
When we watch today how students in handle education itself, it really appalling. They want to institutionalize even with examination malpractice, and in which case you yourself contribute to your failure. Very often we as university administrators, they wish for we students the best, not to any boast, but just coming from the University of West Indies, Jamaica, I realize that students themselves want to be better people when they graduate. Cannot compare that with real students in now because they don't get the responsibility to themselves. All they care about is I want to get high grade and then I'll get them at every cost.
As people can say, anytime you talk pan the dog, you for some also talk pan the bone. And this be make the Deputy Director of Budget and the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Ilara Madi, talk about the role where the university administration self get for play so that they go set standard them for university education of the country.
We for ensure say lecturer they teach exam term, they conduct exam to certain standards, etc. The students then need for get a room for the evaluate the lecturers. This is something that's not rocket science. It happen in other countries. And not say the students they not get problems, but for them person take joy for fail everybody in class on a 2% normal pass. It means say the lecturer self get for be held to certain standards. So I'm saying if you invest in lecturers then, but at the university themselves will go for come up with them when they deal with it for hold these lecturers then to high standards.
With all this, it be important for make the ministry self talk about how them plan for give solution to other issue them. When are they help for give strength to quality pan university education as alone? Dr. Ramatulai Wurie, and the Minister of Technical and Higher Education.
So for include innovation and in industries into the core function of universities. So why I read the point where Mr. Kata make about the private sector, we know that the private sector, we cannot move into industrialization without the private sector. And we also know we need to ensure the curriculum will not for trade mismatch. I already talked earlier about the labor market survey we don't do for some sectors. And we also get for see how we get for make sure so young people they will get job. Because ultimately, how they get for contribute to community, they get for be gainfully employed. So we get for support the youth employment scheme, we go lead to social development within the social space, with socio-economic development, and other new ones.
The minister and for calling university them for make sure say them begin make the students them they research on different community and development issue them what they affect the country in development. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Jaffa Mans Davis, the report.
The program na Good Morning Salon where they come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Madam Minister, you don't hear story where we colleague do, but one thing where I pick out get for do it the way our lecturer them can fail students. Other country them, if plenty students fail, they question the lecturer, but for ya, with the CU side lecturer, you know, you will fail a whole class, then you will see he happy over that. As a ministry, una concern of some of the way how lecturer them, you know, they behave themselves during lecture time or exam?
Definitely, we're concerned as a ministry. And in response to that question, I will use myself as an example. As you know, I served as a lecturer for 10 years. Before being appointed by His Excellency for serve. And during the intended, if students then fail me lecture, then it's a reflection on me. That don't mean say me not a good lecturer because I don't get 1 or 2 years for teach them. I for able pick up say they need added support here and there. But for that, take them up to the point of examination and then they sit me exam and then majority of them fail. That's a reflection on me for say I not do me work. So then they go back to the point where I'm making at the town hall for say we get for support the universities and for strengthening systems usai already day or develop systems usai in already. And universities get governance structures, they get governance systems, they get the organogram. and we need for work with them for let them see how they can strengthen their systems and because if the systems are working the way them for work, then kind of if we don't pick them up early and also at the point of examination. Because in my experience, we maybe in the lecture, the institution where I've been there, would they do continuous assessment with students? Would they help you as a lecturer for know usai you students they need support or usai they don't need support, or how then they fare on? If you don't do continuous assessment 1 term, 2 term, 3 term in one academic year, students and the struggle, then you for no say you need for do something. So these are the systems where they say we need for go back and see how we can help strengthen them for letting things they also not be again. And the point where Dr. Madi make about evaluation, definitely that is in place. And not to a tool we for saying a thing for points finger at lecture and for see how we can support them in terms of professional development. I mentioned earlier about the education management system where with the further enhance. Then they can get a component of evaluation. With the year done, students can go and evaluate the lecturer. That reports there, we can compile them, go to the head of departments, they look for the different lecturers and say, okay, students and they say A and they say B. Let's see how we can support you if they raise a concern repeatedly. So now then, thing and they want to introduce within the educational system for ensure student concerns there so they come up will be addressed once and for all.
The policy where you mentioned just now for our universities and public colleges then could be sustainable financially. When will they see this policy come to pass?
You mean the Technical and Higher Education Fund?
Yes.
So the Technical and Higher Education Fund, what I've been talking about the last WACAM, it's been approved by Cabinet. So now we they work with the relevant authorities and set them up. Then they now from the ministry side, from the government side. The university they will already done the tell them say, una need for do more for generate funds internally. So now continued dialogue, not a one-off conversation with them.
How this fund they work?
The Technical and Higher Education Fund.
Yeah.
So one who don't set them up, we get for identify ways of funding them for Monica inside the different income streams and for Leka inside it. And then we also get for define within the fund get for different in order for solve all in order for all the issues them. It will be sometimes for support access. We get the student loan scheme, say a student loan scheme will introduce for provide sustainable access, equitable access to technical and higher education. It can complement Dandy. It can be for infrastructural development within the universities and we vocational training centers. It can be for support for provide equipment. So we need for define what it for. And then we don't define and we'll get for work again with the relevant authorities for put systems in place. Checks and balances, how for access that money. And one thing where we get for also introducing, and again the last I talk about, we get for link them to quality. Because education is valuable, but quality education is even more valuable. And for that, we get for introduce performance-based financing. What I mean by that, we as a ministry will come up with quality indicators then. Thing they will want to see within the universities then, and we put measures in place for assess them on those indicators. These indicators then get for be linked to the national development plan. They also get for be linked to the regional agenda for education, the African Union Agenda 2063, and the global agenda, the SDGs. We don't put the indicators in place, so we get measures and we get the tools and for measure how universities and they perform. Based on how you perform, then will determine how much money you will access from that fund. So these are some of the things that we get for introduce for see how we can gradually improve upon the quality of technical and higher education.
We still get the Minister for Technical and Higher Education with Dr. Ramatulai Wurie. Now they talk about they strive them with the ministry to do for promote higher education at the country. We don't talk about how the universities then for be sustainable and other things. Then we look at the UNESCO China African Education and Cultural Cooperation Conference we attend, we say sign an agreement. Tell we detail about this agreement and how it beneficially to higher education at the country.
Thank you very much. So I've been fortunate for participate in the meeting where you mentioned, and I used the opportunity while in China for meet in person with a company, Beifang Automotive, who we done the talk to remotely before I go China. and then they work within the automotive industry for support vocational training. So the MOU are signed now for support vocational training na Salone, but it gets the possibility for it also supports universities. Because while I was there in China, I've been going at the company itself. I do a tour of the company. I see the equipment and where they get, then the equipment and where they use, the technology where they use, and so on. And the details of that agreement, then don't say then go train 100 young Sierra Leoneans in. They go China and train na the learning, the training facilities them on how to use the equipment them. Then they also they donate to we 3 labs then. And then 3 labs here, so then give you the cost of them when it's a lot of money, and we they can look now waiting whose existing institution will get we can host that training, that training lab. They also don't give you training materials, and then they give you access to the online training materials as well. The way we see them, the 100 young people the way they go, then we go train na Bifang Automotives. When they come back Salone, they will be the trainers. We go push forward automotive industry in a Salone, because we already get a center of excellence in Kisi for the automotive industry supported by UNIDO. So this will further complement Dandy, because the automotive sector is something we as a ministry don't identify as a growth sector. So of them 100 young people, we also get for send, some get for be from the vocational training route, some get for be from higher education, they then get in skills and they and come back. And ultimately, the long-term vision of this, long-term, now foresee how we can set up car assembly plant na Salone. People then go say why, me go say why not? Something we go serve the region, the West African region, because if we don't get young people then we don't get the skills them, they don't train them, then they thrive within those sectors then get opportunities for letting further capacitate themselves, then get access to continuous professional development. Why we not harness them skills in an industry? And as I mentioned from the news report one thing we'll get for encourage universities or push universities for begin think about now how they get forget stronger links with the industry. So this could be one potential route so they can use as well for see how, and then it could be another source of income for the universities then.
All right. Well, plenty thank you for joining inside the program this morning. From time to time, we'll couch you at the studio for updates about things and so far with the happen at the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education. In name na Dr. Ramatulai Wurie, in the Minister of Technical and Higher Education as there for talk about different issues we get for do with the development of universities them across the country. Plenty thank you for joining inside the program this morning.
Thank you.